I've made mistakes, you've made mistakes, and I don't want us to make the same mistakes, especially as a beginner. Today I'm going to share 5 muscle building and diet mistakes that I made when I was a beginner so that you guys don't have to make the same mistakes. Let's talk about it. It's just a little bit harder. How did you make the 500 being put? Right guys, welcome to the video. Simanga Michael Japa here, personal trainer and online coach. Thank you so much for tapping in again. Please make sure you like the video. Make sure that you stay to the end of the video because I'm going to give 5 mistakes and then I'm going to add a bonus where I share another mistake or something else that I did that wasn't quite right. When I look back in retrospect, I'm like, that was probably not the best thing. So please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a comment if there's a mistake that I've made, that you've made as well, or one that I missed out that you're like, hey, this is also a pretty prevalent mistake in beginners. Right, let's get to it. Oh yeah, by the way, let me know how you guys feel about this. I'm on my James Bond today. Anyways, so one of the mistakes that I made early on as a beginner, because I was coming from being a skinny guy and whatever, and I used to watch bodybuilding videos and they just always used to tell us eat, you know, just eat and become big, you know, eat big to get big, all that kind of stuff. So one of the mistakes I made is eating too much BS, all in the name of gains. You know, gotta get the gains, bro. I gotta eat, bro, because I'm smaller, my metabolism is so fast, I need to eat. And as much as I had a point, and they had a point, when they meant, you know, your metabolism is fast, or even if it's slow, you just got to be in a slight surplus. But I went about it the wrong way. You know, I would go about it and eat anything in terms of calories just so I can fulfill the surplus in my mind. Also, like, I didn't even know if I was in a surplus. That's another thing. Like, I didn't even calculate stuff like that. I didn't even know how to calculate back then. But I would just eat. I would just eat a lot of food, like hot dog with mayonnaise, with, you know, when you just add empty calories on top of empty calorie, just all in the name of gaining some mass, gaining some size. And I feel like that's a mistake that a lot of us have made, especially I feel like with guys, because we all hear that rhetoric of eat big to get big. And they mean well, I guess, but it's not the whole story, because on top of that, if your calories are like empty, you'll not only will you have some muscle gain, that's if, you know, you're also training correctly and all that kind of stuff, but there's going to be a lot of fat gain. And that's something that they normally don't communicate and they don't tell you about. They don't give you the whole picture. They'll be like, yeah, you'll be bigger, you know? Yeah, but you'll be bigger, but also you'll be a little bit fluffier. Your stomach might be bigger as well. So a lot of people I know who want to get bigger don't necessarily want their stomach to get bigger. So that's another one that you have to think about. No empty calories when you're trying to get bigger. Yes, you can get away with them a little bit more if you're on the skinnier side, but just make sure that you know that there is a price to pay for anything that goes into your mouth, no pun intended. There's a price to pay. Okay, mistake number 2, overtraining. And it's very much documented in literature now that there is such a thing as overtraining. I remember I used to watch bodybuilding videos with Jay Cutler in them, and they was like, there's no such thing as overtraining, it's only under eating. If you eat enough, you can't overtrain, which is BS. I mean, it's BS. Anyways, the way I used to go about this is I used to have like a weak point, like let's say my chest has always like kind of been a weak point for me. And instead of educating myself in terms of how can I get more, how can I become better at resistance training, my technique, and learn more in terms of, okay, my chest is lagging. Why is my chest lagging? So I always used to have this idea of, okay, it's lagging because I'm not doing enough. I'm not pushing hard enough. I'm not doing as many sets, or I'm not doing heavy enough weight or whatever. I just used to go the wrong way about it. I'm like, okay, it's not growing, so I need more and more. So then fast forward a couple years later, I got into not necessarily the space of personal training yet, but I just got more educated, I learned more, I watched more videos from people who are like giants in the industry, and I started to learn about the anatomy and how the pecs move and all that kind of stuff. So I remember the bench press is one of those things where if you couldn't bench press as a guy, it's like, you know, you're useless. So I used to bench press and I used to feel in my shoulders a whole lot. So that in and of itself would tell you and told me, now that I'm older and I know better, like my technique was off. So of course my chest wasn't going to grow as much as I wanted it to, because my technique was off. You know, that, and I was comparing myself to all these guys who are on PEDs, which are performance enhancing drugs, and not having a realistic view of, I'm a natural dude. This is what, in my mind, this is what I can probably attain. I can still make progress, but it takes time, but also you're natural, okay? Also, just get better at the skill of training, because training is a skill, make no doubt about it. Right. Next, mistake number 3. Not training my legs enough. Now, this is for me. These are my mistakes. I don't know about you guys, but I used to train with a training partner back in the day when I was in high school. Shout out to Spoo. I don't know if he even watches these videos. But I used to train with him, and we used to have this joke of, we'll just train our upper bodies and they'll look great, and we'll just wear jeans and no one will know, you know? Which is so stupid in retrospect. But that's one of the things that we used to do. You know, we'll train upper body and then screw the legs, just wear jeans. You know, it'll bounce out, no one will really know. Which, you know, again, so stupid. But the thing that I failed to understand, and the reason why I respect people with great legs, and I think universally we do, is because we know how hard leg training is. Leg training is hard, especially for guys, I feel. But leg training is really, really hard. If you want good legs, you're gonna have to go through some pain. And I think we know that when we see someone with great legs, we automatically be like, okay, he works hard, he's been training. It's one thing to have great arms and great chest and whatever, but I feel like we know, like when you have great legs, we just know, okay, this guy takes his training seriously. You look symmetrical, like your upper body and your lower body looks, you know, put together well. You just look better, and I feel like you almost gain a little bit more respect from the gym bros. So yeah, do not skip leg day. That was a mistake I made. Not making that mistake anymore. Please make sure you like the video, guys. Make sure you stay to the end of the video. Again, I'm dropping 5 points plus a bonus. That's gonna be number 6 at the very end of the video. Please make sure you leave me a comment, and let's keep going. So yeah, this is a big one. Sticking to 1 rep range. Again, because I used to watch bodybuilding videos, Jay Cutler in them, Phil Heath, Ronnie Coleman, all of them, like the rest of us, you know. So I'm talking guys now, like guys who are trying to get big. But I used to stick to the rep range of 6 to 8, normally not more than 10, because, you know, what do they tell you in those videos? Lift heavy weights. You want to get big? Eat big. Lift heavy weights. Rich Piana, rest in peace to Rich. But that was the messaging. Lift heavy weights. If you want to get big, lift heavy weights. And some people will still have this in their mind of, if you want to cut and get shredded, then lift lighter weights and then it'll cut the muscle somehow, which is, I think we all know it's BS by now. But yeah, just in case you didn't know, it's BS. But yeah, so I had that messaging of lift heavy weights only, that's how you get big, which is not true. A lot of studies have come out to show that reps from 5 all the way to 30 can build muscle. It's just more about the reps in reserve, or the proximity to failure, more so than it is about the rep range. Your body is super smart. It gets acclimatized to something. So even if you train in the rep range of, let's say, 5 to 10, and you lift heavy, and you know it's great at the beginning and whatever, there's gonna come a time where you're gonna need to switch it up again. You're gonna need to switch it up. That novelty is what your body needs to continue to break plateaus, to continue to make progress. And you have reps. If your main goal is body composition, body recomposition, hypertrophy, and all that, you got like 5 to 30 reps to play with. So don't limit yourself in terms of, I only do 12 to 20 reps, or I only do 15 to 30 or whatever. Okay, because we need all that. All that can kind of stuff can help us grow. Next, mistake number 5 that I have on here, and the last mistake before the bonus point, is I ate like a typical bodybuilder. And what I mean by this is, again, because I was so heavily influenced by the videos used to tell me eat 5-6 times a day, and kind of relating to my earlier point of, yeah, I would eat 5 to 6 times a day, but then maybe one of my meals would be a hot dog, or it would be a pie, or whatever. Just, you know, again, empty calories. And I didn't understand anything about macronutrients. I didn't understand anything about calorie balance back then. But I think there's definitely, not even I think, I know that there's more information out there today. So I think it should be a little bit easier for people to understand calorie balance than it was back then. But again, if I'm however many pound male or kg male, and my calorie expenditure for the day is 2,000 calories, I'm just making an example. If my focus is to build muscle, I just need to be in a surplus. And even then, not a huge surplus, maybe 300 to 500 max. So if I'm in that surplus, I'm going to be in an environment, and of course if I'm resistance training, I'm going to be in an environment where my body's going to be comfortable in adding lean tissue to my body. I don't have to, maybe if I eat 3 meals, I just have to bump it up to 4. Or maybe those 3 meals, I just add something in the 3, and I can still be in a surplus with the 3. I can still be in a surplus if I just add an extra meal. What I did, what was a mistake, was I just went to 5. I just went to 6. Because I was so heavily influenced by the videos, I didn't know any better. I was just like, no, they say you gotta eat 6. If Jay Cutler's eating 6, I gotta eat 6. So that I can look like Jay Cutler, which, again, so stupid. Last but not least, relying too much on supplements and supplementation. Now, again, because I wanted to get bigger, I used to use mass gainers a lot. And this is not me dogging mass gainers out, because you'll probably see on the channel somewhere. I have a mass gaining video that I did on one of the USN supplements that I used to use. And I'm not mad at that supplement at all. I think there's a lot of nuance with a lot of things in the space. And I think mass gainers is one of them. If someone was to ask me now if they want to take a mass gainer, I'd always advocate for real food, of course. Of course I would, not because it's the right thing to do as a fitness professional, but because it's true, But to say that they don't work at all, some are better than others. Some have compounds in them, not compounds, but things like creatine in them, protein in them, and also a decent amount of carbohydrates when it's not super inflated, but like a decent amount of carbohydrates that help put you in a surplus if you can't get your food to do that for you because of your schedule, because of your situation, whatever. So again, like I've said in other videos, supplements aren't like the go-to thing, the number one thing, but they can help. They can help. Just ask someone that you trust, someone that you know is not necessarily super affiliated to a certain brand, so that they can give you an unbiased and objective opinion. But my mistake was that I over-relied on those things, where I used to buy the bucket and I wouldn't even eat. I'd just drink my thingy, I'd just drink my shake, put a whole lot of milk in there, and then, go to bed and be like, here come the gains, which again, hindsight and retrospect, wasn't super optimal for my progress. But, we live and we learn. Right, guys, that is the video. Please be sure to leave me comments down below. Make sure that you tell me any and all the mistakes that you used to make as a beginner, and how that kind of makes you feel looking back now. Like, ugh, I was so dumb for making those mistakes. Please like the video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Long story, less long. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you on the other side.